Hey YouTube family, I am so excited for today's video. It has been such a while since I've literally sat down, filmed, and edited any content, but life has literally been lifing. We will put a pin in that and talk about that later. But for today's purpose of this video, I want to get into all things Houston. As you may or may not know, I moved to Houston last May of 2023. Boy, has it been a journey. Oh my gosh, I moved here for work on my own because girl boss. I'm hoping that this video resonates with anyone that's considering moving to Houston or just moving out of state by themselves, taking a leap on faith, following their dreams. This video is definitely going to be for you. I'm going to get into the pros and cons of living in Houston, my experiences. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. So as I said, I've been in Houston since May of last year. I'm originally from Atlanta, so if we're comparing Atlanta to Houston, culture is pretty similar. There's a lot of young Black businesses, professionals, lots of things to do in the city. So I would say in terms of culture and things to do, Houston and Atlanta are very much the same. It wasn't a huge culture shock coming here, and I've also visited Houston a few times before I actually decided to make the move here. But let's talk about some of the challenges of like moving to a new state. Y'all, making friends as an adult is so hard. It's so hard because one, people aren't genuine. Like everyone does not have your best interest, but also it's kind of like, where do you meet friends outside of your place of business or your place of work? So for me, I struggle with that a lot. I am an extrovert. I'm a traveler. I love, traveling by myself. I love talking to new people. I love meeting new people. But for me, this experience was so different because it was not somewhere that I was traveling to and then leaving in a week. This was literally my new life. I was trying to meet friends and, just make good relationships. I also decided to live in the suburbs. So if anyone is familiar with the Metro Houston, I lived in North Houston, specifically the Woodlands. And I picked this location because it was close to where I work. I'm a passenger princess. I don't like to do too much of the driving. So I really wanted to be somewhere that was convenient to where I would be going into work every day. I really enjoyed living in the Woodlands, but y'all, it was a very much family oriented, a lot older, dynamic. So it was very hard to meet other young professionals or even just like date because they just weren't really in the Woodlands. They were more so in the city. The city is about 35, 40 minutes on a good day, bro. And Houston don't really have good days. So I say that to say the drive was crazy to get into the city. So I think living in the suburbs and not really being familiar with Houston and not having friends made it very challenging for me to socialize outside of work. So ultimately what happens, your coworkers become your friends. And it's been such a blessing to actually make great friendships at work. This is also my first experience moving out of state permanently. This is my first experience having like a big girl apartment. Y'all, I haven't lived in an apartment since I was in college. There was just a lot of like new experiences that I had to take a leap on. I was also coming from a background of remote style work. So I literally could just work from home, travel all around the world, do whatever, to being relocated to Houston to go to work in an office every day. So I feel like for me, that was one of the hardest like shocks to really get my brain to understand, like, girl, you cannot get up and go. You have to go to work tomorrow. So I suffered a lot with like letting go of my old life. And I don't even want to say letting go, but just like putting a pause on it because I knew that I was here for a reason, and I knew that the role that I took was going to lead to other opportunities. I knew that this was a very, good company to work at. Also just knowing this is for the interim. It doesn't have to be your end goal, but it's just for the right now. So I suffered a lot with living in the moment because I'm so focused on like what I want. My goal is this and I'm here. And so like all I can think about is, why am I not here? This is what I want to be doing long term. Like this is what I want. But it's like, no, girl, you have to just take the steps and get there as God designs the path for you. My next point also led into like getting into a state of depression and feeling like very vulnerable. Y'all, when you don't have friends, like in the same state, I never really knew how that could affect me because I've always lived somewhere where I had a bunch of friends or I had people that I knew. And so moving here was just so different because I literally didn't know anyone here. So I felt a lot of times very alone. Like, of course, I still had my family and my mom and my sister came to visit me a few times, but it was just the constant routine of going to work, coming home, going to work, coming home. And it was like literally repeat Monday through Friday, and you have 2 days to yourself. Bro, so yeah, it kind of got to a point where like I was just getting really depressed. I wouldn't go out. I wouldn't even open my blinds, y'all. I would just sit in a very dark room. I was just mentally like not okay. And sometimes you really do need like your friends or your family to come over, snatch the covers off of you and be like, get up, we're going out, get up, get in the shower, put some clothes on. And like, I feel like at that moment, I really needed that push. I was just being so challenged to be independent, and I'm already an independent person, but like I was being pushed even more. When you work somewhere that you do not love or you're unhappy, it will really start to affect your mental and physical health. And so that's what was happening. It was like I was getting depressed about life, I was getting depressed about work, about living in a city where I didn't have any friends. And then it kind of just all trickled down from there. Like I started getting really sick, y'all. My anxiety got really bad. So I struggled a lot the first 6 months of me moving here because the job was so stressful. And on top of the stress of trying to climb the corporate ladder, I was also on a team where I was the youngest by 12 years. I was also the only Black person. Like I just felt so much pressure to do well. I think that's natural, especially in the corporate world and being a young professional. When you're in an environment where it's just toxicity, like it literally starts to feed into your brain. It got to the point where it was past a mental, it was physical. I wasn't eating, I wasn't sleeping, y'all. I've never been so stressed. My period was like 2 weeks late just due to stress. I've never met my deductible until I moved to Houston, because I was literally always at the doctor. Let's also talk about the weather in Houston, y'all. It is hot AF here all the time. It's currently September and it's 90 something degrees, and that's actually bearable. Like I went outside today and I didn't die, but on a norm it's 100 degrees, it's hot. They have all these natural disasters, bro, hurricanes. Like the power goes out, like there's no food, no water, nothing's open. And then on top of that, the roads are so flat that like when it rains, it literally just floods. Coming from Atlanta, like we don't get too much of the natural disasters, baby. We keep it real cute over there. The other cons, this is not a walkable city at all. By any means necessary, this is not a walkable city. I don't really love to drive. And I love like being outside in the sun, but because it's so freaking hot here, I never wanted to go out, which was another factor that kept me in my room and just in the house all the time. Everything is so spread out. Like you could be literally 30 minutes away and they're still talking about this is Houston. Like, babe, this is not Houston. We're in another part of Texas. This is not Houston. Now let's talk about what I've learned after this experience. As an adult, you're quite literally in charge of your own life. The experiences that you create stem from what you give out. So it's like if you do not have boundaries, or if you do not stand on business and say what you mean and mean what you say, like people are gonna walk all over you. When I first moved to Houston, for those first 6 months, I kind of started casually seeing someone, and I feel like that also tainted my experience of the first 6 months because I just got very comfortable in that situation. I was literally still transitioning from my old life to this life. I'm trying to set my apartment up. I'm trying to literally like figure out my job, bro. You know, you never really know what you do until like 2 or 3 months in. It was just a lot of life changes. I'm thankful that I got to experience everything that I experienced while I was in Houston, because I can 100% say that it's made me a stronger person. I feel like it built up this endurance, allowed me to be a lot more confident in my skills, in my relationships with people. And this experience has made me learn myself even more, the things that Yana wants. If you're not learning from your experiences, then WID. I worked at one of the biggest companies in the world, so obviously you know there's a lot of employees there, and I was lucky to find so many great people that like have become real friends outside of just, you know, work. And so I'm so thankful and I'm so blessed for them. I literally tell them this all the time, like I just don't know where I would have been without y'all. So when I actually announced that I was leaving Houston and leaving my job, y'all, they threw me a going away happy hour. They all donated $1,000 for my moving expenses. And I just, at that moment at the table, y'all, I literally started crying.
Okay, so we know that you have to move back. We did all came together as a great team because we want to support you in your moving. So with that, we have given you $1,000 gift card. Are you serious?
Yes.
I'm so serious. Come on.
I feel like that was just the realization for me of like my answered prayers. I had been praying so long, and I'm like trying not to get emotional, but like I have been praying so long for God to just align me with people that I was supposed to be with, because I'm also coming from a place where like I just graduated college a few years ago, and a lot of my close college friends, like we still keep in touch, but we all kind of like went our own separate ways. Like I have friends that are doing this, I have friends that are doing that. And so like, not to say that there's any less love there, but to be able to have people that are on this journey with you, that relate to you, the present you, it's just like, I can't express how thankful I am for them. The personal growth was insane. I literally was talking to one of my fake aunties, and she was saying, I can just hear it in your voice that you've changed so much in a positive way. As I move into this next phase of my life, my biggest prayer is that I can take everything that I've learned here and apply it to my next place. Like, I don't want to forget these lessons and have to repeat them. I feel like this also helped me to get closer to God, because bro, I didn't know what I was doing out here. When I tell you I'm trying to figure stuff out on my own, I don't know what is going on. So it's like you literally can't turn to anyone else but God. God, what did you put here for me? Like what is in store for me? Why am I here? After all the stress, the anxiety, I was finally able to understand why God placed me here and why it was so pivotal for not only my career, but my personal development. So I want to summarize that with saying this experience has been nothing that I will ever forget. And also it's not something that I take lightly. I feel like my frontal lobe has literally developed, and I am just a new woman. Definitely encourage you to get out of your hometown, bro. I tell everyone this. Get out of your hometown. There's so much world out here, and you'll never get to experience it if you don't leave. I'm an Aries, so I love new stuff that gets me going, and I really thrive on like some impulsiveness. So I feel like for me, this journey, I don't want to say it was impulsive, but it was not expected. If you would have asked me a few years ago if I ever saw myself living in Houston, I'd be like, you're crazy. Y'all, I was the person that always knew I was gonna live in Paris. Like, I'm gonna live overseas. And God said, hold on, not yet. We got some more to do here. I am moving again, and we're moving to a new place. So I'm so excited to announce this and give you guys more info soon to come. I have lots of travel vlogs and everything backed up, bro. Like, I'm trying to get my life together. Moving has been a lot. This job has been a lot, and I'm finally at peace. So I love you guys. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell to be notified on any of my future videos, and I hope you guys enjoyed this.